Two and a Half Men aired on CBS between 2003 and 2015. The show originally starred Charlie Sheen as Charlie Harper, a hedonistic jingle writer, and Jon Cryer as Alan, Charlie's right-minded but too naive brother. Angus T. Jones played the role of Jake, Alan's gluttonous and adorable son. The story begins when Alan and Jake move in with Charlie in his beachfront Malibu house after Alan is thrown out of his home by his manipulative wife, Judith. In a day and age of sitcoms, very few shows enjoyed the kind of love and viewership that Two and a Half Men managed to achieve during its 12-year run. The show has developed a cult following, and even after going off the air in 2015, continues to be one of the most watched TV sitcoms. Of course, this adult-themed comedy has many jokes that one may find inappropriate for family viewing, but the show will surely make you chuckle often. More importantly, with each season, you'll grow along with the characters and grow more fond of them. Unlike the sitcoms of yesterday, present-day sitcoms do not have a predictable story and character development, and that works for the best. Two and a Half Men kept audiences laughing for 12 years. However, the behind-the-scenes story wasn't the same. The cast and crew members didn't always get along well. Many controversies surrounded this show. After all, when you have Charlie Sheen playing the lead, controversies are bound to happen. Facts First presents On-Set Controversies of Two and a Half Men. Before we give you the dirt and gossip, like and subscribe to our channel. To stay updated about all our latest videos, press the bell icon. Cryer always tried his best to make Charlie see logic in difficult situations. Staying true to his on-screen persona, Jon Cryer always tried his best to make Charlie Sheen see the logic in situations he found irritating and annoying. It turns out that in real life, the two actors are very similar to their on-screen characters. While Charlie Sheen is quick to react like Charlie Harper, Jon Cryer is calm and patient, much like Alan. Cryer once broke up with a girl because she had dated Charlie Sheen. We're certain that men have some secret code of ethic that stops them from dating their friend's ex. It is therefore no surprise Jon Cryer once broke up with a girl because she had dated Charlie Sheen in the past. Cryer looked up to Sheen for relationship advice. Cryer and Sheen got along really well, especially during the first few seasons when Charlie was sober and still married to Denise Richards. This was a time when Cryer actually trusted Charlie Sheen for advice on relationships and often discussed his dating life with Sheen. Surprising, isn't it? Before we tell you about how and why Charlie Sheen once spent a Christmas night in jail, we want to remind you to like and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated about our latest videos. Charlie Sheen spent a Christmas in jail. In 2009, when he was still a part of the Two and a Half Men cast, Charlie Sheen spent Christmas in jail. Sheen and his then-wife, Brooke Allen, began their Christmas morning with an early round of booze. Sometime during the day, Sheen lost control and grabbed his wife by the throat and pushed her. Brooke Allen made a frantic call to the police and reported assault, and Charlie was put behind bars. That's why they say never start drinking too early in the day. Sheen once offered to pay an ex an exorbitant amount of money just to shut up. Sheen has done a lot of questionable things in his life, and some of them are capable of ruining his career. The public knows only a small portion of these things, and of course, Sheen wants things to remain that way. It's thus not very surprising that Charlie Sheen once offered to pay an ex an exorbitant amount of money just to keep her mouth shut and not spread any more rumors about him. Despite everything, Charlie Sheen got a raise. Charlie Sheen's latter years on Two and a Half Men were filled with controversies. The show's producers were therefore rather surprised when Charlie Sheen asked for a big raise in spite of everything that was being said about him in the media. The funny thing is, Charlie Sheen did end up getting a raise. Hollywood Reporter reported that though Sheen didn't get the raise he was expecting, he did get a raise nonetheless. And then Charlie Sheen called Chuck Lorre a clown. Chuck Lorre has given us some amazing sitcoms over the years, including Modern Family and Big Bang Theory. He's also one of the most successful modern-day television producers. However, Chuck's elaborate resume and successes weren't enough to elicit respect from Sheen, who once called Lorre a clown because he didn't agree with him. And then he went up against Ashton Kutcher, too. Charlie Sheen's attitude and his hundreds of different controversies were in every way responsible for the actor being ousted from Two and a Half Men. However, when it was finally announced that Ashton Kutcher would be taking on Charlie Sheen's role, Sheen could not take it, and he lashed out at Kutcher. But Kutcher didn't stay quiet and decided to give it back to Charlie Sheen fully. Sheen shared his girlfriend's photos with other cast members. Charlie Sheen has never pretended to be your normal, committed good guy. However, many things he did or does still continue to surprise his fans. One such thing was sharing questionable photos of his girlfriends. In an interview, Cryer told Ranker that Sheen wouldn't show entire pictures of his girlfriends, just pictures of parts of them. That's certainly questionable behavior. Cryer and Sheen were originally cast in each other's role. 2.5 Men registered many controversies throughout its 12-year run, and though critics have found many faults in the show, they can't fault its casting. Both Cryer and Sheen perfectly fit their roles. However, you'll be surprised to know that Cryer was initially offered Sheen's role and vice versa. Alan's hair was not real. In the series, Alan is often seen setting his hair. In truth, Alan's hair was fake throughout the show. Daily Mail once reported that for Alan, the makeup team used hair that could be painted on like shoe polish. Charlie Sheen is a gifted actor. The king of controversy is always in the news for some of the other bad news. Unfortunately, these controversies draw the light away from the good things about Charlie Sheen. One such good thing is that Charlie Sheen excels at memorizing lines. You give Sheen whatever lines, and irrespective of how complicated they are to learn, he'll say them word for word and beat by beat if he wants to. But he was very difficult to work with, especially towards the end. Somewhere in the middle of 2.5 Men, Charlie Sheen hit rock bottom and was in no control of his life. During this period, Sheen created quite a ruckus on set one day when he refused to get up from the couch and complete a shot. At one point, he wanted his salary to be $3 million per episode. Remember we told you Sheen got a raise even after everything he did outside of his work life? Well, that raise wasn't enough for Sheen. Ranker reported he demanded the show's producers and creators increase his salary to $3 million. Of course, the producers denied it. And he refused to do the finale because he didn't agree with the writers. We also told you Sheen's bad attitude was responsible for him being ousted from the show. Sheen refused to do the season finale simply because he didn't like the script that the show's writers had written and wanted it to be rewritten to include his suggestions. That is the height of unprofessionalism. Charlie Sheen's loss was Ashton Kutcher's gain. Ashton Kutcher is a brilliant comedian, but filling in Charlie Sheen's shoes is not an easy job. In any case, when Ashton Kutcher took on Charlie's role in 2.5 Men, he had no plans to make the audience forget Charlie Sheen. Since the very beginning, Kutcher was quite open about the fact that he did the show because it fetched him good money. Well, all actors do some gigs in their life just for the money. So, a smart decision, Ashton Kutcher. Angus T. Jones asked people to avoid the show. Angus T. Jones was 10 years old when he was cast in 2.5 Men. He was a kid and didn't fully understand the show. However, as he grew old, he began to realize the show wasn't a great watch for kids and sometimes even adults, which is why he asked people to avoid the show. In 2014, calling himself a paid hypocrite, Angus T. Jones formally resigned from the show and only appeared for a small cameo in the final season. Throughout its 12-year run, the show may have stayed mired in controversies, but the truth is, even with all the controversies, 2.5 Men still has a cult following and is one of the most watched shows. It's funny, and it's hard not to fall in love with the characters, even with all their flaws. And though Kutcher did a fine job as Walden, there's no denying no one could have played Charlie Harper better than Charlie Sheen did. What are your thoughts? Are you Team Walden or Team Sheen? Please let us know in the comments section. Before you move on to the next Factsverse Presents video, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated about all our latest videos.